Right guys, here we go. Going to start this Ryft kit. Lots of parts. To begin with, the first section's the front and the rear and the centre diff. So we're going to get them all built up together just now. I'll show you, I'll probably just put one on camera, but I'll show you the kind of script of what's going on with this part. Then, because I'll probably time lapse it and just do little bits as we go through the video, because it's a lot to build and it's going to take long enough out recording every single step. It'll just be such a big video, it'll be insane. So I'll try and condense this all down as best I can. So you can see there we've got the manual out, and the first step is kind of just putting these little gears in, O-rings and washers, etc. So it's showing you there you can do it for the front, rear and centre diffs, but you get the optional locker which is up here. So I've got everything laid out how I want it to be, just to get everything built up neat. Just take this nice and slow, don't want to lose any bits or make any mistakes, so Loctite things up as I go. I'm going to use the diff oil that came with. I'm not even sure what weight it is just now, but the stock diff oil is going in, and I'll be using the locker in the centre diff, because to me an off-road car with a locked centre diff just makes so much more sense than an open diff. So let's begin this, and yeah, I'll do my best I can to try and keep it not too boring but kind of informative as well, because if anybody's looking to do this kit, it's probably a good way to see it, how it's done. So wish me luck, and hopefully I won't drop any bits on the floor, because that's going to be a nightmare. Here we go. Right, first we'll put the locker in for the centre diff, so try and get that for you there to see. It just locks in there. So obviously when the diff's spinning, when all the gears and things are on, it's just locked and fixed, so when the motor turns a gear, the power will go directly without any transfer straight to the front and the rear of the car. So that bit's in. Now also got our other diff cup here, which is the composite plastic. I'd rather they were metal, but it is what it is. They feel quite tough anyway, they're nice and thick. We get the gear here, washer on top, and O-ring on the underside of this, so that just comes round here, push that in, and there we go, that's one of them done. Then we drop that into the cup. So I'll do that on the other one, exact same process. I'll just move on to the next part. Right, now we've got the lock diff and the other two ones done at this side. We'll put them down, just keep everything neat. And now the gear ends here, so exact same thing. We put obviously the gear with the washer and the O-ring in here. Centre diff ones exact same as well. So it's kind of a stage that there's not much to really show you there. Then we've got the spider gears, which obviously put on the little poles and like crosses, put them down. I'll get over the diagram for you just now. And once they're in place, so you can kind of see the sections there, how they sort of cross over, and get them all fitted in each diff. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. Screw them down with the gears, then obviously put the diff oil in, then finally just yeah, tighten the screws up a little bit, and that should be that section all done. So I'm going to try and cut through it pretty fast and just move on as much as I can, because there is a lot to kind of show you. Right, now the spider gears are in, all I've got to do is put the top ends of the gears on, and obviously the washers. And what I found out there just now when I was reading the manual is they actually give you 1,000,000 weight diff oil. So that's what's going in it just now, 1,000,000 weight diff oil, which is quite a heavy diff oil, and I imagine it should be more than enough. So I'll get these filled up, put the caps on, then this is this section pretty much over and on to the next page. So I've not even looked at what's next, I'm just literally going step A1, A2, A3, A4, and just taking it at a relaxed pace and not really worrying about what's coming ahead, just go as the manual tells me. Right, that's the front or rear diff there, they're both the same, they're all done with the 1,000,000 weight oil in them, nice and easy. Locking centre one as well, locked centre one, sorry. And now we're on to B1 section, which is the front axle, which to be fair, the plastic feels really good. I've seen things about people breaking it on the ready to run version, but just holding this and feeling it, I don't really see what could break with this unless you're doing something insane, but time will tell. It does feel really good, and I'm going to give Axial a lot of credit here just now, even for a guy that usually knocks Horizon for things they do. This kit's superb. Just little things like every bag you open, you've got your diff grease, your thread lock. It's just so well laid out. I mean, for a kit, it just seems to be so straightforward how to do this. Really enjoyable knowing you've got everything there and you don't really need to go raking for stuff. So yeah, pretty impressed. Right, that's the diff in, little shaft through with the gear, all greased up, etc. One thing I say, the bearings feel nice and tight and really well just sort of embedded and nice and smooth turning. So now that's done, what I've got to do is put the metal front plate on here and get a bit of Loctite which they've provided, which again was amazing, and get the 4 diff plates or cover screws on, and that's that section done. Then after that it's onto the wheel hubs and things. As you can see there, bearing at the end, put the cups on, screws, etc., then get the shafts through. So I'll probably come back to you at some point towards there, but like I say, it's just so much to video that it's impossible to do every single bit without it being tedious. I'm not even sure how good this video will come out the way I'm doing it, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it if you're still watching. Right, that's we got the diff kind of together, the plate on, which is not sure what kind of metal, but it's like some kind of alloy, which is good. It's good to have an alloy diff cover, especially for the bolts to thread into, so you know that won't slip out easily. I've got the first sort of wheel hub side on here. It's basically just slots on. I'll show you on this side here. There's a little groove, you can see it in the camera, just in here, and it lines up with the little grooves on here, and you slide it in, put your bolts through. And you got little, once the bolts, if there's little nylocks that go on, but the only thing that I can see in the manual is it's showing you to put these little screws into the end. So there's a screw here, which hopefully I can get in focus. You can see a little screw there, and there's one at the top as well. And they don't really seem to serve any purpose, so all I can think is there may be limits for the steering, for how much it can move if you adjust them. But like I said, I'm going page by page, so I'm just saying, doing as it says basically. So it says put them in just now, they're in just now. So we'll get these on, then the next bit's putting the little shafts in, and once they're in I'll probably stop for this part of the video for tonight, come back and do the next part, because this has taken me maybe doing this sort of the 3 diffs and finishing this up will be about an hour. And that's kind of all the time I've got for just now, but I'll still continue this in the one video with the next few parts. So yeah, so far really pleased, nice good instructions and pretty happy with how things are going. Right guys, as I was saying at the last part there, I was kind of having a wee break last night, so I've came back to do this, back to fixing the Ryft together. So the drive shafts and axles at the front, that's all kind of in. I've just built up the front links. Everything's beautiful. I don't know if I've seen it in the video, but what I had actually missed, I noticed one of the bags, a bit silly of me, but inside here there's obviously a bearing on either side of the front diff that I hadn't put in, so I took that off, put them back in. It was quite late last night when I was doing this, so I was maybe a little bit tired, and now it's just to get these links on, which you can see I've built up here, pretty straightforward. And once they're on, I've got to move on, get a steering servo in, which I've not decided what I'm going to use yet. Probably just have something lying about in one of my drawers, so probably won't be the servo to keep in this permanently, but it'll be one for just now. So I think I've got a couple of 15 kilogram ones, but ideally I want to get like a 30 kilogram, 25 kilogram servo in this, and probably quite a fast one, so I might order a Savox. Then I've got the what do you call it, the servo saver to build up, which looks fairly easy. I've seen a few videos where guys have built them and done away with the servo saver, but I'll put it on initially and see how it goes, because I think with being a rock bouncer, the way it's going to, front end's going to land and hit off things, I think a saver will protect the servo. So yeah, I'll give that a go, see how that works out. Then again, it's back onto building the rear axle, which is pretty much the same as the front. if anything, it's a little bit easier because you've not got the hub assemblies to sort out and things. So I'll get all that part done and I'll show you that when it's all finished, because I've been thinking last night when I'm recording this is to show you that every single screw I do, it's just too much, not only to record but to watch as well. I mean, how many guys are really going to sit properly watching it? So I'll just try to do it as efficient as I can a video, and hopefully you'll still enjoy it. And if anything, like I say, I'm having a lot of fun building it. Being off work just now as well, it's just great filling a couple of hours here and there through the day. If I get a little bit bored, I can go back in, do something else and come out. But yeah, so far I'm really happy. I mean, I'm a guy that always slags Horizon for things that they do wrong, but definitely with Axial with this kit, I've got to say, for what I'm seeing on first impressions, they've really done this right. So yeah, I'll get back on with it, just a little heads up while I start again, and hopefully you're enjoying it. And if you are, remember, please click that subscribe button. It only takes a second and it'll help me out big time. Thank you. Right, just a quick one before I move on to what I just said I was going to do is, obviously I've got the links on this front steering arm here, so when the servo's on you can see it's going to pull it, move the steering. So if you remember the little screws, I didn't know what they're going to do. I thought there were limiters that are in here. Try and get in the light for you to see. Hold on, bit zoomed in. Just these little screws that are in here. Basically, when you look at the steering, it's on full lock, it's hitting off the front diff case. So if I move these little limiters out, that should sort of stop it. So I want to just try and stop it just before it hits the diff case. So I'm going to adjust them quickly as I'm going just now, but I just thought I'd point that out to you. That's something maybe to watch for if you're doing the build, so you don't want that ever really hitting off there. That's just going to be a problem. So I'll do that little adjustment just now and I'll show you what it's like when I come back in a second. Right, as you can see I've backed them out quite a little bit there, but if you can have a look at this now, so full lock, not touching, full lock, not touching. So it's very close, but nothing's actually hitting off the diff case now. So you don't want that. Obviously if you hit a rock and the steering goes quick and bangs into it, you don't want things hitting when they don't need to. So yeah, that's something just to be wary of yourselves when you're doing the kit. Right, as I was showing you, I was doing all the links, got the front and the back all built up, so they're ready to go. I'm just doing the trailing arms, and obviously on the RTR version they don't come with the metal, so check this out. I don't want to do it too much, but you can see the flex in there, so I can really get how they were snapping in the past. And with these little metal plates either side, there's no way that's going to break, so that's a huge strength improvement there. So yeah, I just thought I'd note that out to you guys. So even if you've got an RTR, I would say that's really worth investing in these little plates if you can get a hold of them. Right guys, now we're up at the, what I'll say is most fun and interesting bit for me, is building the transmission. And originally I said I was going to do a single speed, but upon thinking about it, I want to go for the 2-speed. So you've got, for D5 onwards here, this is the first part of doing it into the 2-speed setup. And on the other side, you've got the option here, in fact I'm on the wrong page. Basically, it's probably a bit hard to show on the camera here, but there we go. D1, D2, D3 and D4, that's the twin speed transmission, and D5 is a single. I've just decided, it might be a mistake, we'll see how it goes in the future, but I'm going to build up the 2-speed transmission, because the way I'm looking at this car, the quality of all the bits, the feel of everything I'm building, I'm getting really good vibes off it. So to go for a 2-speed transmission, I can just keep it in 1 speed anyway, but to have the option there, I may as well build it while I'm at this stage. So yeah, we're going to do that right now. Right, I've done that off camera there, that was super easy. The only bit that could be a little bit fiddly is the little E-clips at the end, so luckily though I've got a few sets of these circlip pliers, so definitely a must in your toolkit. They're so handy, you don't use them much, but when you're doing little clips they're just the dream. So that's sorted, and how this will basically work is that I've not got to the stage yet, but there's this little part here that will sit in the centre. So once you move the actuator, it'll move from side to side, and the middle of this shaft's a hex shape, so this bit is always fixed jammed. So if this gear's in, this gear will turn with it, and if this gear's in, this gear will turn weight, another one will be loose, so hopefully that comes on the camera. So you get the adjust it on for this gear, slide over, and it'll bind in, and that's the other gear there. So nice and simple, and I've got more confidence and more in building this kit. I'm feeling the quality of the components, so yeah, I'm pretty happy to go into a 2-speed in this now. Right, that's the transmission all in. That was a lot of fun to do there. So one other thing as well I'm just going to mention is everything's really heavy in this kit, and all Mod 1 gears, so this thing in theory should be very, very tough. Obviously I don't know for sure till I run it, but the way it's all going together, I've probably said it a few times now in this video, I'm just so impressed with this kit. Very, very good. And this is your little, I'll try and not drop anything out till I put the side case on. That's your little pin here for moving the gears back and forward to choose between this one or the bottom one for which one's doing the drive. So just a case of put the bearings in here, put the lid on the case, and that's the diff completely done. Super happy. Right, there we have it, transmission done. Beautifully smooth. On this side here, got your little pin, so if you pull this out, what the servo will do, smooth on this gear, push it in, you can feel it changing to the other gear. So nice and easy, super heavy though, probably weighs about the same as my SCX24, and that's not even a joke, that is one heavy piece of equipment there. So between that and the front rear axle parts I've built so far, this car is going to be some insane weight, so it really surprised me how heavy a build this is with all the Mod 1 gearing and things. It's just, yeah, everything I want so far. Really happy. Right, that's the motor in now. So I've basically selected a 1900 kV Spectrum motor. This is out my laser nut, and obviously you all know that car's just got nothing but problems. I've still got to rebuild that again, but for the meantime I'll probably change the motor system in that when I do it. I'll put the Spectrum motor in here, and I was going to put a 13 tooth pinion in originally, that was my idea, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to keep the 17 since I've got the 2-speed transmission, and obviously I think with being a 1900 kV it should be probably a better mix with the 17 here, so hopefully I'll get a nice sort of torquey speed at low end with that. If not, I can drop the pinion down later, but for just now we're going to do it just with what came out the box and see how it goes. Right guys, well now I've showed you all that, obviously I've got all this here to go. Everything's going nice and smooth, obviously the axles, the links, now the transmission. I've got a little bit to do, put a micro servo on this, but we'll put that in the next episode. I'll do this in probably 2 to 3 parts, and yeah, hope you're enjoying it. So far I certainly am building this is great fun. So catch you guys in the next one, and yeah, have fun with the hobby, whatever you are doing. So see you later, pull out, bye.